Welcome back, everybody, to Double Dip Draft Season 5. We are in Week 4 of the Crown Division. As always, I am your host, Spood, coach of the Southdown Sandslashers. Joining me,
it's Aurora, coach of the Hoonsbrook Hunters, and we're here taking a look at the Crown Division matches that happened this week.
Yeah. As I already said, Aurora. You silly goose.
Just reiterating, people have very short attention spans.
That's fair.
Make sure no one gets lost.
Look, there's 4 matches this week in the Crown Division. There was a little bit of turbulence over in Armor Division this week. We had a player drop out who needed to be replaced, so you'll hear more about that in the companion video to this one, which I'd highly recommend you give a watch. I don't know who's in it, because I don't think it's been filmed yet, but, it will be at some point, so keep an eye out for the Armor Division Week 4 recap. But for now, the Crown Division soldiers on as per usual. In Aurora, our first match of the week is going to be Imitable Mass, coach of the Minneapolis Magazones versus Nihilus, coach of the Dallas Ducklets.
And we are starting off with a good-ass match, and I like it.
Yeah, this was a match that we watched in real time, and at the time I think we didn't appreciate it for what it was, which was a masterclass in aggressive play between two players who just have huge balls and nothing to lose. But in hindsight, it's a good watch. It's, I think, genuinely, with all due respect to the other players in the Crown Division, the best match of the week, because the other ones are, we'll say a little underwhelming, if not a little disappointing. We'll touch on it when we get there.
We'll get there, but yeah, like every week thus far, Nihilus has put on a great show, had great just like nail-biter matches coming down to the wires.
Yeah, he barely beat Cabral the week prior with the I believe, what was it, Incineroar, right? Overheat. And of course the week before that and the week before that he was fighting Scoots and Kemeth, who he still definitely made sweat, especially Kemeth. I remember was a really tough one. It came down to some PP stall shenanigans.
Yeah, Nihilus is not here to make it easy on anybody.
No. Certainly not.
Let's see how we fare to this week.
Well, let's have a look. Jumping right into turn 1, you'll notice actually the lack of Rillaboom, which is interesting. I get it. He definitely had a lot of stuff for it in the back, but he decides to Destiny Bond turn 1, which Mass has said is an error on his part, which is true, but
Yeah, it definitely is a misplay, but
yeah.
we got to live with it now.
Good awareness from Nihilus as well for not getting caught off guard by the trap bench, going for the U-turn, even though it switched out, just getting out of its, out of its wrath. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the trap bench's not one-shotting that Incineroar.
Trap bench has definitely proved to be actually fairly annoying so far for people to deal with. It's gotten, pretty marginal use, but it's something to actually consider.
Yeah, and here we see Mass immediately deciding, like, hey, I'm done playing.
Yeah, let's just win.
Let's kick this off.
Let's hit me with the +2/+2. Hit me with the dual dance in like one turn. However,
and then he's still slower than this thing.
Yeah,
it doesn't back very quick.
And this thing must be like thick as fuck. Also, the flamethrower 10% burn is so unfortunate. It ends up not really mattering, but
Yeah, Matt actually gets a good read here also with the Volt Switch on the Trap Hinge.
Yeah, it was good for him to bring it in. I think most people would just commit to letting their Celesteela die there, but wisely, Mass decides to come in, prevent him from pivoting, and keeping his offensive momentum.
Yeah, and keeping up with the good read, he actually gets this triple actual read as well.
Yeah, which is very clever, honestly.
Faint split.
Yeah. And actually, at this point, it's kind of like you're watching this and you realize, holy shit, wait, these guys are kind of just duking it out right now.
Actually, duking it out, making like good plays, good reads. Like, pressure is high from Mass's side here.
Yeah, it's hard for either of them to deal with each other.
Yeah. Mass is starting to sack this thing, so this thing is stuck at -2.
Yeah, -2.
It's sort of like coming for free.
Shows Life Orb as well. He doesn't want to take the... he's shown that it's a physical Frostlass, I think, already. So he didn't want to eat the Ice Shard. Ice Shard would be run on other sets as well, but... And then look at that, dude! I called out the Destiny Bond with the Roar. It was so sick.
Yeah, that is such a good outplay. Because it just forces the opponent out, never kills them, so you're safe.
Yep. Incineroar is able to get out of there, taking minimal damage, taking care of the Trap Inch, so it's...
it's Incineroar taking maximum damage from the Draco, though.
Yeah, and now Nihilus has Hitmontop back in. Charizard comes in, and woo, Nihilus doubles into Noivern. That's actually a sick play. I think that's like really, really good.
Here we see some important damage being done to it.
Yeah. So
this thing's Life Orb, and now it's down to just having 3 moves left, basically.
Yeah. Life Orb ticking away, and it's honestly just crazy. I mean, these couple of turns right here are so dense, and they took them like something like actual 10 minutes between every input, like both players.
Yeah, and I would actually still argue like Matt misplayed a little bit. He could have gone in to Latios immediately on the Noivern, who was at
-2.
-4.
Oh, -4 even, yeah.
Yeah, at -4, and I just clicked Psychic, which would have always killed this thing, almost killed Skip on top. Instead, he needs to sacrifice both Frostlass and Bottom, leaving us with just this 18 HP Latias in a very, very close match.
Yeah, it's honestly insane, because when you think about it, Nihilus still could have won that with a crit Draco at the very end. And it's just, I don't know, it's insane. The Life Orb is really showing its struggle, honestly, in this replay. Like, the Life Orb timer definitely negatively affected the Noivern, I think, more than it benefited with the extra damage, in my opinion. I think we'd have to run, like, a hell of a lot of calcs to say for sure, but...
Yeah, another interesting thing to notice also that had Hitmontop clicked Bullet Punch, this Latios might be dead.
That's true. I mean, there were a lot of plays. I mean, in just these last couple of turns, like if I back it up here, pretty much like starting with the Draco on Charizard, when you've got this like 2v3 situation, it's pretty much a done deal for Mass, but Mass pretty much gives Nihilus exactly as many openings as he can take to force a win con here. So Nihilus predicts the Ice Shard off of the Frostlass, goes into Hitmontop to eat it, and then it's a Technician set. We've already seen that it's not Intimidate, and no one ever runs Steadfast. And it's Triple Axle too, so obviously it's going to be a Technician set. But Mass did not consider that it will be running Bullet Punch on a Technician set, which it does, and it uses, and instead of switching into like Rotom Hard there, just dies off of the Bullet Punch. Oh shit, I did not mean to reset it. Well, you know what? I got my point across, I think. You know what I mean. It was a very close game. Nihilus was given just inches of life there at the end, and he took every single one of them as far as it would go.
Yeah, Nihilus definitely made the plays that could have led him to victory had Mass slipped up just one tiny bit more.
It's honestly crazy to think about, because especially, you know, Mass does have the experience, but he was playing like a little shakier, I think, like in the opener to the season or after last season. But honestly, now he's sitting at 2 wins. He's already outperformed his previous season's record, and it's only week 4. So
yeah, he's doing good for himself.
Yeah, Mass is popping off. He's doing really quite well. And it's just crazy, you know, it's unfortunate for Nihilus. At least he's keeping his differential a little steady, like all these wins and losses are so close. It may be keeping his differential alright, but it's certainly not keeping his heart rate. You know, okay.
Yeah, not keeping his heart rate and not keeping the fucking nails of the audience in mind as everybody's just biting them off.
Yeah, it's insane. Every single match that Nihilus does just is a treat to watch. I've loved what he's brought to the season, and it's you just can't sleep on Nihilus. I mean, you really, really can't sleep on Nihilus. And even though he's still sitting at, I think, 1-3 now, that's like a close 1-3. When we go over the standings at the end of this video, you'll understand, but
yeah,
sheesh. Nihilus 5, man, he makes an impression, but ultimately Mass with his 2nd win of the season.
That brings us to the 2nd match of this week, and sadly quality is going to drop quite a bit here.
Yeah.
As we get into the match between Skittles the Butts of the Nevada Ninetales and Kemeth of the Nidoran Kings.
Now, I will say, this is a good replay, but for a different reason. It's not exactly... Well, I mean, just look at the team preview. I mean, Jesus, you see the Greedent's back. So there's some shenanigans that are going to be afoot. But let's just see what they are. Going into turn 1, it's Jellicent opener, classic. Kemeth takes a page out of Scoots' book with the early taunt. Gets the knock, but immediate curse body. Doesn't seem to matter that much, in my opinion. I don't know. Yeah, oh, this thing actually, I think this thing was Eviolite, because it takes a hit pretty decently well later, and it got burnt off Scald instead of an orb. Didn't notice that on first blush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to keep it in mind, but yeah.
Jellicent just kind of lives hits, you know, you kind of forget it's just this stupid bulky water with the annoying ghost utility.
Yeah, also just like a million billion HP and recover for some reason.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this thing has Strength Sap as well. I don't know if it's running it right now, but it definitely gets it.
It gets it, it doesn't have it, it's Will-O-Wisp Skull's Hex Recover.
Yeah, which is, a good set. Like, classic set, frankly.
Yeah, and in comes this thing again.
Yeah, Galarian Lanoon, just eating it up.
Here to just take more items.
Yep.
Kleptomaniac.
Classic knock. He eats an Earthquake, like, no problem. That's why I think it has to be Eviolite, right? Because...
Yeah, pretty sure.
Yeah. And suddenly, Admiral Crunch comes in with the belly drum. Cheek Pouch Citrus Berry brings it all the way back to 100% HP. And now it, like, underspeeds this whole team.
I just love the fact that this thing is... Cameron didn't even set up the Trick Room.
Yeah, he just was like, oh, I think the Trick Room's gonna happen, so I'll just belly drum it up. Oh, Jellicent comes out, gets the Will-O-Wisp, but it's, we'll say too little, too late.
Yeah, it's also sort of like I feel Skills is just not going into like the answers that he needs to right now.
Yeah, Ferrothorn I think should have come out way sooner.
Yeah, and even at the end here, it's not Ferrothorn that comes out, Slowking.
It's funny to see Slowking outspeeding something outside of Trick Room. That's funny. But yeah, pretty much you got Greedent doing work, and now you have the baby.
The baby.
The baby emoji, which I think is very funny. Yeah, pretty much Kenneth just came in with a bunch of setup meme shit, and, well, he set up the meme shit.
Yeah, Skittles does not, like, he severely lacks in offensive pressure, and when people just want to set up on him, he notices.
Yeah, it really, I mean, like, thinking about it, you know, you probably could have gotten away with, like, sub on, I don't know, something. Like, you could have probably subbed, like, Green or, I don't know. Maybe not, because it was so slow for Trick Room underspeeding, so you'd still get the Will-O-Wisp, but, like, these burns and things still didn't even need to happen, right? Like, with a little bit more, like, careful play and careful prep, like, you could have gotten around these burns and stuff. But, I mean, it wasn't even, like, why? Why bother? It doesn't matter.
It's like, this thing is like Magic Art anyway, it doesn't care about its physical attack, and it just fucking cleans up, because it can't be killed after 2 Acid Armors and 2 Combines.
Yep, that's, that's what Reuniclus does. I mean, what, you know? Like, what the fuck do you do?
In Skills' case, I'm honestly not sure.
He'd have
like,
to...
aside from just having a dark side, like...
Yeah, he needs to, like, roar and shit, you know, or have, like, phasers or hazers, or he needs to have, I don't know, he needs something. Especially, I mean, at the very least, pick up something like a Lullen Marowak or a better Trick Room sweeper than, like, Dusknoir, you know?
Yeah, Dusknoir's base 100 attack leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, that's rough. I love Skittles, he's the man, but this was just, Greedent in the spotlight for, I think, the second week in a row.
The second week in a row. Fucking stupid squirrel. I
big chunky baby. I mean, he's just... What do you do?
Big chunky baby now with 8 kills. One of the Pokemon tied for Kill Leader.
Tied for Kill Leader. Oh, Greedent is so good. You know, go back to the analysis, like the draft analysis video, and I was disparaging the Greedent. I thought that this was just like a low-tier meme shit. And while it is definitely low-tier meme shit, it clearly works. You know?
Yeah, it's low-tier meme shit capable of killing a total of 8 Pokemon at the very least.
In like 2 weeks as well. Like, not even over a long period of time. It's not like he's chipping out stuff that's already like low. It's actually like soloing teams.
Yeah, this fucking thing like 1v4'd Scoots last week.
Yeah, he got 4 kills off on Skittles this week.
And it was just like now 4 more for Skittles. God, it's so stupid.
It is,
I hate this.
It is silly. Greedent is just, he's the man, you know. Kenneth, I don't know. Yeah, it's Kenneth. He's just out here doing goofy shit, and it's working. I'm getting almost like baby, like... Kenneth is kind of like IDM Jr. in my brain, where he's just like, oh yeah, I'm pretty good, and I'm also just gonna bring fuck off, like, meme shit, and it's just gonna work on you, and, like, you don't get a choice.
Yeah, basically. Like, fucking... Just getting, like, dimensionally outplayed with brains that aren't of this galaxy anymore.
Brainwaves that measure on the Richter scale. It's just... just obscene. Look... Aurora, I want to tell you about Cabralo95. He's the coach of the hash-slinging Aegis Slashers, and he had to fight Scoots of the Dumblespoods army this week, and it was, I think, a real heartbreaker. It was a very... not like amazingly... I mean, it was like a 4-0, I think, so it wasn't like amazingly lopsided, but this was a match that could have looked a lot better, a lot more easily, and it just didn't look that great for us.
Yeah, this match, honestly, it raises my blood pressure just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and it's in keeping with the theme that we've been talking about. It's, well, the main character of this replay starts with Tapu, ends with Feeney. Let's jump right on into turn 1 and we'll talk about it. So obviously, Cabral's got the Hail Core, and honestly, like, just looking at the matchup, Alolan Sandslash goes kind of bonkers, you know, does really quite well if he makes, you know, appropriate reads. But yeah. Feeney pops on in turn 2. No big deal. Keeps the skull.
No biggie. Just here vibing. Just here doing its thing, you know.
Alolan Sandslash comes in. Feeney reveals Calm Mind, so it can't be Scarf or anything. I mean, it's already shown leftovers, but boom, look at that full Fizz Depth. Steel Roller only doing 48%, 41 now after Lefties and Hail. But Cabral's like, okay, I'm not keen on taking a Scald, so I'm gonna switch into Chugs, and that's, you know, it's fine.
It's fine. This thing like cannot speed this Feeney as well. So,
yeah, it could be faster, but then he doubles into Vaporeon, and Scoots, well, he has kind of a moment of realization where he's like, actually, I think I will turn my brain off and just
start clicking attacking moves.
Start clicking attacking moves, yeah. Because why not? You know what? I'm Tapu Fini. I'm at +1, and like you're not attacking me, so why not? I'll just keep doing the drain. I mean, like obviously he's attacking the Fini, but he's doing Scald and Flip Turn, and he brings in Ninetales with the Hail's on, and then the Hail ends. Freeze Ride does 28. Fini gets off another Calm Mind, and then Cabral, overthinking it, goes for Aurora Veil while the Hail is down. Trading Kiss, then brings Fini all the way back up to 72, and this thing is at more health than it was before the Steel Roller, and now Mimikyu has lost its sub, you know, its disguise. Woodhammer comes in, would have killed fucking ages ago, doesn't kill here. Mimikyu dies to Skulls.
Yeah, now it's decently now. Now you can potentially like get a kill in, but Cabral just switches, like doubles again.
And he doubles back into Miltank, and he gets in like a ton more HP!
Bro, just like really, the answer here is so simple. Just hit this thing until it dies.
I know, and it's just so, because this is like the classic Scoots thing. This happened in grand finals, or maybe it was group stage. Like, but this was like a Scoots versus Chemith thing last season, where Chemith like refused to just hit the Tapu Fini, and it would just live forever. And then he tried sacking it, like I think last week or the week before, and it just stayed in forever. And then again in this week, like Scoots is like, I'm just gonna put in Fini and just sort of sit there and attack what's in front of me for like 10 turns, and you're not gonna kill me. So that Fini by itself got like 3.5 kills off nothing for no reason.
Yeah, like it probably would have killed something on Cabral's team, granted, but like easily the combination of just like Steel Roar, Sandslash into just a Woodhammer from Mimikyu just deleted it.
Yeah, that was all.
Got rid of it, no problem. Because it wasn't like it boosted its defense or anything. It only boosted special defense.
Yeah. And like his answers to it were physical anyway, you know?
Yeah, then, you know, Scoots here just donates this Benegor for some reason.
Yeah, he just feels bad, I guess.
just feeling generous today. I wanted to lower the differential just a tiny bit.
Crazy Protect, incidentally. That's...
yeah, and now this Heracross comes in, and you know, that's it.
Yeah, this Heracross is Scarf Close Combat, and it's, you know...
Yeah. Scoots is just here, you know, 3v6ing Cabral's whole team.
Yeah. What Cabral should have done in this endgame was get in Ninetales, get up Hail, force like an extra defense drop, and then these E-Speeds would have done it, but he didn't, so it doesn't.
Yeah. Not that Cabral like really could have won from that position anymore unless he got like a Dragon Dance or two and got some good crits.
But it was just about at that point, like trying to save differential, because really, I think when he went down 3-6 versus the Fini, that at that point he'd really just lost too much. You know, it was like full health, like obviously Scarf Heracross in the back. He didn't even see the Boom Burst machine, you know, louder excuse me. And obviously Lando T being completely at full. There was
Yeah,
just like too much that Scoots had that he could throw at Cabral, and Cabral just had no way to deal with it after losing so much.
Yeah, and it just sucks because like the answer to it was just so simple, sitting right there in front of you. Just like attacking. You don't need to double against something. If something is at 2 calm minds in attacking you every turn, you don't need to double anymore. You just need to kill this thing.
Yeah, and that's what's upsetting is like, you know, I think Cabral knows this. Like, Cabral's a sharp guy, and I think he's good at Pokemon, and I think, you know, when we were doing drills for this week, this kind of thing just did not happen. You know, granted, the Feenies that he was drilling against were lower defense variants, so they were easier to kill, but, I mean, after seeing, like, Calm Mind taunt, you know, he should have had the awareness to be like, oh, okay, actually, I get it. I can outspeed this guaranteed with, like, 3, even 4, potentially, of my Pokemon, so I just have to wail on it until it's dead. You know, Woodhammer did over half, Steel Roller did almost half, Hail was preventing leftovers from accruing, but he just kept giving him stuff. He was, I guess, like, afraid of sacking, so he was, like, rotating his Pokemon in to take hits, but in the pursuit of not sacking a Pokemon, he sacks 3!
Yeah. Like, this thing should have gotten, like, 1 kill at most, and then at least be forced out.
Yeah. And then, like, you actually get to play the game of Pokemon, but it just...
Yeah. Because it's like, the thing is, as soon as that Feenie's removed and this Metagross and Heracross are low, that Sandslash is looking hella scary for Scoots.
Yeah, and honestly,
Well,
even like, what's his name? Like, Zygarde behind a sub is also just incredibly strong here, you know?
Yeah, but it's just a question of, like, we never got to that part of the game because everything was dead to Feenie.
Yeah, so it just, you know, there was all these hypothetical ways that this could have played out, and I think Cabral had a really strong squad for Scoots. I thought that he had, like, a solid game plan for Scoots going in. It felt very doable, because, you know, he lost this by seed anyway, so it's not the end of the world to bomb it like this, but, man, it would have been a really nice win, especially after dropping to Nihilus last week, and Cabral just did not make it happen.
Yeah, very unfortunate. At least it's not the worst differential. It's not like getting 60'd.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the death knell for his season anyway, but it's just like, man, that would have been some nice extra credit, and it's just not there.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, too bad. Scoots, though, I mean, that's good. He bounced back from the Kemet loss, that's for sure.
Yeah. Scoots was not here to drop another week, and,
No.
You know, took it quite dominantly.
That's true. Just easy 4-0.
So we have one last match to get into this week, and it's Vincent of the Hairlin Haluchas facing off against Firebolts of the Minnesota Magikarps.
Another tough match by seed. Firebolt has been struggling a bit this season, having already dropped the game to Skittles, and of course having lost to who else has he lost to? He's at 3-1 now after the Vincent loss. Spoiler alert, of course, but I'm trying to remember. Yeah, he lost to Skittles. I think he lost to Scoots, right? Has he already played Scoots?
I don't know. I'll go figure that out. You get into the match.
I think he beat Mass. I don't know. Like, let's just talk about it. So, this is Vincent versus Firebolt. Firebolt having a kind of a tough season. Vincent having a fucking great season. He is he's kind of breezing through his division right now. It's insane. Even the 2 players seated above him, Kenneth and Scoots, both sitting below him on the ranking, having both incurred 1 loss a pop. Whereas Vincent is sitting pretty at 4-0 at the end of week 4. Undefeated and seeded to beat everybody else in his division except for Scoots, potentially. But that's going to be a hard, you know, it's going to be a hard match for him. But still, I mean, oh my god. This is Vincent's season, man. Season 5 is, well, shoot. I mean, he's been running away with it so far.
So far, it's been a very like Eurocentric season.
It has been a very Eurocentric season. I think like 3 of the 4 Euros are sitting undefeated right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So good job on that, by the way.
Thank you.
I was undefeated until week 4, but whatever. It's honestly, this is kind of just, in a nutshell, the season of Firebolt versus the season of Vincent. It ends how you think it's gonna end. It plays how you think it's gonna play. I think we should just watch it, Aurora.
Yeah, let's get into it here.
Let's slide into turn 1. Easy peasy. So
see this Hippowdon face off against the Crawdon. Crawdon obviously scary as hell.
yep,
Adaptability Crab Hammer hurts like a motherfucker.
yeah, it really does. We also see that he is scarfed as well. And Firebolt just has very little by way of answers to this thing. He sets up in front of it instead of hitting it. Kind of echoes of the game we just watched too.
Yeah, just, needing to kill the thing that's here instead of just sort of like flailing around.
It's just the water types. I mean, he hasn't touched it once and it's down to like below half health, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, just Rocky Helmets and Sandstorm.
Firebolt gets some good momentum off the Eject Pack Draco Meteor, but immediately drops it with a dynamic punch on Silvally Ghost for the upteenth time. I think this is the third time he's run it this season, and we're only on week 4.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like his team lacks a natural ghost type, and Silvally just fills the role really well.
Yeah. Silvally's crazy, crazy good. He also doesn't have a fairy type, but Silvally can do that too.
Yeah, just kind of depends what he wants more that week.
Crab Hammer dodge, but of course, Vincent knows that the body press is coming, goes back into Silvally Ghost. Firebolt didn't really make the play on that and predict it. Which I think when you start falling behind like this, you really got to start making the plays,
Yeah. Also, interesting fact, the knockoff damage boost only happens if it actually knocks off the item. Therefore, the memories on Silvally Ghost make it not take as much damage.
Yep. Skarmory comes in, this thing roosts, and then it really, honestly, from this point on, is kind of just like a bulk fest. Firebolt can't really break through Vincent's defensive core, and Vincent can break through Firebolts, but it just takes a little bit of doing.
Yeah, and this Mandibuzz is just so thick.
Yeah, Mandibuzz and even, what's it called? Mandibuzz and Silvally have just been sort of sitting on everything.
Yeah, just a combination of really good typings, as well as, the roost on this thing, and insane defensive stats.
Yep. Foul play doing fairly little to this one. We see actually the rock side flinch here, but it turns out that this Mandibuzz is definitely faster than Hippo. So he must have tried to whirlwind it.
Yeah, either that or Vincent's insanely lucky.
That's true. He does essentially win the speed tie if it exists 4 times or 3 times. Firebolt plays it really fast and loose here with these rock slides. He's at 26. He could potentially die on the next foul play. He doesn't even click the slack off. He just lets it rock. And then Vincent lets him live to get off the roost, and then he gets off the slack off. I think Vincent must have assumed he didn't have it because he wasn't doing it.
Yeah, I think that must have been his mentality. But I think he hasn't shown up before.
He hasn't shown it, yeah. And I mean, Hippo I think is really kind of infamous for being a Pokemon that's hard to break, but
yeah, but
you just gotta brute force it.
Yeah, the Spectre, after throwing enough shit at it, eventually gets it gone.
Yep, it's not Spectre. That's Silvally.
Yeah, and now this thing is just here to finish the jobs.
Duraludon comes in, eats the choice band, which I think is funny. Skarmory comes back in and body presses this thing to below Defeatist, so it will live another hit, and so now he needs to roost, but he body presses, and that is all she wrote.
Yep, Spectre comes in, finishes the job, and Vincent very dominantly taking in a 5-0.
Yeah, and it's tough. I mean, Firebolt needed to just make more reads. He was playing really defensively, and his core was just not really up to snuff, right? He needed, he needed hazards up. He needed to be reading switch-ins. He needed to be applying more pressure. The eject pack on Duraludon was really helpful because it gave him this pivot on something that he immediately forced out. I think it was a Nidoqueen. But, you need to keep that momentum going, right? And you can maintain that momentum by just, reading switches and doing doubles, especially against Vincent, who hasn't put up any hazards in front of it. He wouldn't have been punished, really, for just doing more aggressive doubling, kind of like Nihilus was doing earlier this week. But unfortunately, it really just does not pan out. Vincent kind of just brute forces his way through Firebolt's defensive core, and Firebolt has no answer for it.
Yeah, and I feel even towards the end there, what do you call it? This scarfed Crawdon could have like cleaned up everything from like a half health Skarmory to a full health Hippowdon probably.
Yeah. Because
Have to build a crap hammer with that thing's attacks. That's crazy.
Just obscene. Obscene. And the elevated crit chance really came through. I think he got 2 or even 3 crits on the Firebolt's team, so.
True.
Yeah.
But also one miss.
Yeah. Well, you'll notice he didn't actually miss the Crabhammer versus Sandvale Garchomp. Which, Crabhammer is a 90% accurate move that, Oh, I don't know. We talked about this last week, but the proccing the Sandvale, it just has not been happening when Firebolt needs it to happen.
Yeah. Then again, like we said last week as well, it's not something you want to rely on to begin with.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It felt like it could have been doable for Firebolt with some more aggressive, doubles, but it really just ended up panning out not that way.
Yep.
Yeah. Not really much more to say about it. I mean, Vincent just looks so strong. Honestly, let's just talk about the rankings, because if you want to, I can tell you Vincent's been really strong this season, but how about I show you? This man is sitting at 4-0 with a plus 14 differential, sitting currently undefeated among 3 people total right now who have not dropped a game. And he's the only one of them in his division.
Yeah. There is a chance still that, that doesn't remain the case, because he still needs to fight Scoots. That's going to be a tough fight.
And he can still potentially be upset anyway, you don't want to count out, especially, with the way that, Nihilus has been playing, for example, I could actually see maybe, Nihilus just, taking out Vincent, if it just happens, you know what I mean? I think Nihilus could do it. I think maybe, I don't know, I feel like Cabral and Mass have already played him. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, can't tell you off the top of my head, but it's definitely been, Vincent establishing himself very dominantly, 4 wins already, which doesn't guarantee him playoffs quite yet. A lot of things can still happen.
Yeah, but I mean,
he is
realistically
he is looking pretty.
Yeah, I honestly think that Vincent is pretty much a shoo-in. I don't think, for him to not make playoffs from where he's at right now, he'd have to bomb the rest of the season pretty damn bad. And I just don't think he'll do that. He's too consistent.
Yeah, I feel that's, maybe he'll drop a game, maybe he won't.
Yeah. I think whether or not he does, I think he's pretty much into playoffs at this point.
Yeah. So after that, Scoots and Kenneth both at 3-1.
Yeah. Scoots posting a decently high differential. I mean, Kenneth and Scoots both have a decently high differential, I'm being honest, but Scoots, the plus 12 is, that's insurance for 2 6-0s in a row and still not going negative. So there's something in that.
I feel noteworthy how Scoots' differential is still comparable with Vincent's, even though Vincent's undefeated and Scoots is taken 1 L.
Yeah. I feel like Scoots is pretty I don't know. He either just whoops your ass or barely loses. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. He makes it difficult every time.
Yeah.
And then, Matt sitting here as the 4th playoffs contender at 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2. -2 differential, so just barely under the midpoint, but obviously enough to squeak in right now. Especially if you compare him to the bottom half. Cabral, Nihilus, Firebolt, and Skittles are all relatively close. Cabral leading the pack of the unqualified at the moment, or I should say, I don't know, the people who are currently projected not to make it into playoffs. Cabral is the closest to making it happen, being only, a single win of 2-0 or more off. And compared to next week, Mass would have to get another win to stay ahead. So it's really important that Cabral tightens up, but it's still very possible for any of these people. The difference between Mass and 8th place is 1 loss and 8 differential.
Yeah, which is, relatively speaking, that's very small.
Yeah,
that changes. That change can happen in 1 week.
He's closer to 8th place than he is to 3rd. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
Scoots and Kenneth and Vincent are all just putting a mile between them and the people in the lower 5th, but they're so I still couldn't tell you who's going to go on. I think it's unfortunate that Firebolt's sunk so low, because I think that he's got some harder matches ahead. He's already dropped the people that he was seeded to beat, which is going to make his path forward really, really tough. But honestly, yeah, I think the 3 to keep an eye on are Mass, Cabral, and Nihilus, because I think that they have some good things cooking, and right now they're kind of approaching this 3-way tie in a way, not necessarily in
Yeah.
terms of their score, but their head-to-head might end up looking circular because as of right now, Nihilus has beaten Cabral and Mass has beaten Nihilus. So now if Cabral beats Mass, that's a three-way, like a circular head-to-head.
Yeah.
Which would make this very interesting. I really think it's going to be the three of them duking it out amongst each other as we go forward. But still, I mean, Firebolt and Skittles are still very much in contention. So,
Yeah, it's so fun to just sort of like see this battle for like the last year like playoff slots as it plays out, because like it's such a tight race that can just change at the drop of a hat.
yeah, I mean, you could come back and the entirety of this list stands like the number ones. I mean, even all of these spots could change next week. You could have
Yeah,
every
they can.
single person moving up or down, like a substantial amount in one day. So this is it's a volatile division. I just think, I don't know. I'm having a great time watching this as a spectator. I cannot imagine they're having any fun with the stress that comes with having to fight so hard for that slot. But man, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it is definitely tight, a close race, and exciting to see if the rating champions will take it, or if there will be a black horse coming from behind.
Yeah, I still think that Nihilus looks strong. It's unfortunate that he lost this week, but it was still like really close, and I think was very doable. So again, it's just like I think for Nihilus it's like a mentality thing, and especially, I mean, even for Cabral, I think it's even more a mentality thing because he needs to basically get into the mindset of like I can beat anybody. This is a video game where I can win no matter what, and I have to just do it. You know what I mean? Like. He needs to tighten up, he needs to take every match seriously, and he needs to really like execute on game plans if he wants to hold on to a chance. Whereas it seems like Mass is kind of vibing. I feel like his mentality has been very strong, and it's kind of paying off.
Yeah. Mass has just been doing well, and that's like, even in spite of like how busy his like life has gotten with other games, college, that stuff.
No, I love it. I think the Mass storyline is crazy, and I honestly, he looks good to get ahead. He's already had one of his theoretically harder matches by seed, and it came so close, and he still lost it. But having beaten, I think it was Skittles and Nihilus, that puts him ahead of like the peers who are like directly in contention right now with him. So those are two good wins.
Yeah, definitely. Be proud of those.
Yeah.
Keep them, and who knows, maybe you'll drag them with you into playoffs.
Yeah, I'd love to see it happen. But I think that's really all we have to say about the Crown Division as of Week 4. As we get over the hump, Week 5 I think is going to be a really big week for determining like who lands where, because right now it's still so close that anybody could take it. I think next week there's going to be some distance between players.
Yeah, next week's gonna be like an explosion, and then people are gonna be scattered all over the place, and we'll see who lands where.
So keep an eye on the Crown Division, and definitely keep an eye on the Armor Division. Check out the companion video to this, the Week 4 Armor Division recap. Should go up at the same time. There won't be a link to it because, I don't know, I'll forget to do it. But, hey, it'll exist. Definitely check it out. It'll probably be premiering at the same time you're watching this. So, if that's still going and this is done, then scoot on over there. You don't want to miss the action in Armor Division, and we'll keep you posted as Crown develops. Aurora, do you have anything you'd like to say to the people?
Just, keep on playing, keep on doing well, because, fucking everyone's still got a shot.
Best of luck to you in the Crown Division. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Bye-bye.